Okay, I think we are all set. Are we all here? I just had a few kinks to work out. Okay, Erin, is the whole board here? I see Mike, Spiros, Mary, Lynn, very good. Okay, good evening. This is Amy O'Brien. Welcome to the Chenango Forks Board of Education regular meeting, January 14th, 2021. Will the clerk please conduct roll call?
Amy O'Brien.
Here.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Here.
Mary Collins.
Here.
Mike Vavra.
Here.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Here.
We have a quorum. I call this meeting to order.
I, Erin McMullen, Board Clerk, have confirmed with Council that this meeting is being held in compliance with Executive Order 202.1, issued by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo on March 12, 2020. The Executive Order suspends Article 7 of the Public Officers Law to the extent necessary to permit any public body to meet and take any action authorized by law without permitting in-person access to meetings and authorizing such meetings to be held remotely by conference call or similar service. This meeting is being held remotely via Zoom virtual meeting software. The public has the ability to view or listen to this meeting live via the Zoom app, web browser, and/or by telephone. This meeting is being recorded and will be transcribed at a later date.
We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. 1.3 Public comment.
The public wishing to speak to the Board of Education will be allowed this period of time to do so under the following guidelines. Speakers will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes and the entire public comment session to a maximum of 30 minutes. Speakers are requested to press the raise your hand button, state your name, your address, and the topic. Speakers will not be allowed to personally attack any board member, administrator, or any of the public present. Also, no comments by the speakers will be permitted that deal with executive session subjects such as individual personnel matters, discipline issues pertaining to specific individuals, including students, and speakers will not be allowed to read letters. We'd like to go in order and of the hands being raised and try to get through everybody one time before we go back to somebody with their second question. Thank you. Okay, we have no hands raised.
Okay, this ends public comment. 2.1 Superintendent report.
Okay, let's start again being unmuted. Mrs. O'Brien, I'd like to start with a presentation by our CTE coordinator, Kathleen Caranta. I believe Mr. Gray Reed's going to help her out. So Kathleen, if you please start with that, I appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone. All right, so I'm going to bring up a presentation about CTE. Gray, do you want to start in?
Gray, you're muted.
Thank you. I just want to thank the board for the time to present, and thank you, Kathleen, for putting this together on behalf of the department. And it's pretty difficult as I'm in quarantine, and it's invaluable to have her doing the work that she's done for us. So thank you, and thanks for the ACA department in entirety. So Kathleen, it's all you.
Okay, so this past June, the State Education Department put out a, I'm gonna unshare here for a second. Oops, hang on. So that I can see what who I'm talking to. The State Ed put out a packet regarding career technical education. Career technical education is a P through 12 process for our schools in grades P through 5. it can be done by a regular ed teacher as project-based under the guidance that they are working towards a career technical education topic or subject. Once it hits the middle school and high school area, then it has to go to the certified technical educator. So that's where we start. This is our CTE group. Myself, I'm the business education and work-based learning coordinator. Deb Daniels and Farah Shouty are the middle school and high school representative. Gray Reed and Adam Nemick is the high school. Adam Nemick also pushes into the middle school along with Mike Ramsden. There are 6 areas, content areas for CTE. Number 1 being agriculture, and these are all in just alphabetic order. Agricultural, business and marketing education, family and consumer sciences, health science education, technology education, and trade and technical education. Career and technical education is terminology used throughout state ed, and it encompasses a lot of language that's old, but the new terminology is CTE. These are some of the pictures from our classes that are currently going on. As you're going to see, some of the photos, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving around. Some of the photos are from students when they're at home preparing meals.
Kathleen?
In class. Yep.
Can you try getting out of the share screen and try sharing it again? It's not coming up on our screen.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I'm just talking. Sorry, guys.
We can see it now.
Okay. So some of the pictures that are there, why don't I go back, and these are the people that I was talking about. Okay, and those are the 6 content areas that CTE covers. These are some of the pictures that have been sent in. Some of the students that had sent them in from home for some of the classes. The social distancing, the masks wearing, each student is given their own set of utilities to use. In the classroom, we are teaching remotely. I don't know if you can see my little computer in the background there. We're teaching remotely as well as in-person students synchronously, and so that they're all learning different things. This center table, Mrs. Daniels was quite impressed that the student actually did the tablecloth, the full setting for the meal, the prepping of the meal, and it was quite wonderful for her. We're adapting to what we're doing now with our hybrid learning. In the tech areas, they've always worn masks of some kind when they're working around the sawdust and that kind of stuff. But the one student down at the bottom there, he's working on an iPad and drawing out stuff, and that's where the not always comes in. But it's also warmer outside, and as you see, some of the students were working with snow plowing and snow blowing. State education laws, historical terms like career education and practical arts, vocational, have all been referred to, but now they're referring to them as CTE. This is the section that I was talking about with early learning in the elementary. It's project-based. It can be done with a regular ed teacher in the elementary. However, once you move into the middle school level, the CTE instruction does need to be done by a certified CTE teacher. They cover content area from grade 5 through grade 8. By the way, certified CTE teachers are P through 12 certified. In the high school, in a 9th through 12th grade career and technical plan, it includes the coursework for the learning experiences as well. The contrast to the middle school level is that it's more in depth as opposed to the project base in the elementary, the introduction in the middle, and then by the time they hit the high school, they can be more in depth and much more throughout the process, much more in depth. Multiple pathways for CTE. The Board of Regents has approved multiple pathways for someone to get CTE certification. In the middle school, we introduce it to the students with the exposure of the possibilities available. And in the high school, we get more in depth and we fully participate in the high school. We can also do now sequences. I don't know if some of you are old enough to understand sequences. Some of you probably are not. Sequences went away back in the 80s and they have now brought them back. An individual who has difficulty in a core subject area can put a CTE certified course in as a temporary fix to a course that they may not be able to complete successfully on their own. Some of the things that we're looking into currently right now in the business education department, and Gray, you can speak to the technology side, but the business education side, we offer 6 different college level courses. Some of them in the college area are math based. We're looking at potentially getting the math credit in the high school as well. A couple of them are English credit as well. So they can take them as an English credit or take them as a business ed credit. But they're taught by a CTE teacher. Gray, would you like to speak to the DDP and the...
In regards of DDP, or college level courses you're talking?
In regards to the DDP,
The DDP courses that we offer at the high school, Mr. Nemec and myself teach a section apiece, and that is one of the art requirements that a student can get tech, plug it in for a tech sequence, and they can also use it as an art sequence or an art credit, because we have to have an art graduation requirement. So that satisfies that. I'm not sure if everybody's on board with that or are aware of that, but students can choose that. That's why it's a very popular course for the 9th graders. The other things to kind of talk about what Q was talking about, the college level courses is future. We're trying to implement some college level courses with Mr. Nemec, possibly robotics, CAD. We had articulation agreement with BCC for CAD years ago. That's since gone by the wayside, and we're kind of thinking about picking that back up again. But okay.
any questions so far?
Yeah, I do actually. So I love how the sequences are coming back. First off, I find that what's old is new again, but Ms. Reed just said CTE can be used as an art credit. Now, can that go the other way around? Can art teachers do anything with CTE?
No.
Gray, you want to speak to it?
Well, you're going to have to explain a little more, but from what I gather is there's a difference between a fine arts and what we do. And it's defined in the standards as fine arts are separated, and they cannot do from what we do. Kathleen has the add-on also, but Kathleen, you can probably explain it a little better than I can.
Yeah. So a certified CTE teacher is a regular teacher as well as having the career technical education added on to the top of our certifications. An art teacher can go one of 2 paths. They can go a technical art teacher, or they can go a fine arts teacher. And it is my understanding that in our district, we have fine art teachers. We do not have technical art teachers. They potentially could go back and get recertified as a technical art teacher, but currently right now we have fine art teachers. What Gray was talking about with the other certifications that I went on for under CTE, under the work-based learning for our STEAM Academy, that's how I got the coordinator side of it. I went back to school with the blessing of our district and took the additional courses to become certified as a work-based learning coordinator under the STEAM program. So the graduation requirements currently right now, there's 22, and each one of them, as you see, and sometimes the students have a difficult time getting a science or a mathematics or whatever. And Gray actually co-teaches a course that can go either way for a science or for a technical ed. Gray, you want to speak to that course?
Yeah, briefly, it's a science course. It used to be called principles engineering, but we really found that the concepts in principal engineering was more than we could kind of ask the kids that take that course to do. It's an option for students to take a third year science with me. Gets the blessing from the department chair in the science department and guidance, and they put together a list of kids that take that course. It's a hands-on applied kind of science concepts that helps those learners graduate, really. I think it's a great course for kids to get the third year science, and typically it replaces a chemistry. So there's kind of like 3 different kids that will take that course. It would be somebody like myself in high school that could probably get through chemistry, but it's not going to do it. It wasn't up my alley. I could do it, but it just wasn't for me, you know what I mean? And then the second one is some people just can't get through it. They might try and they'd fall, and it would be a roadblock for graduation for them. And then the third one is, somebody that just, needs a science course for whatever reason, they, scheduling wise. And it's typically a small role in a roster in terms of how many kids take the course. But I think it's a great course. Tina Giovenco, she's the department chair, and she gives me a list of students at the end of the school year for the future. And it's been a pretty positive course. So
Some of the other things that we've done with languages, some students have a difficult time accumulating the 3rd and the 4th year of language, and to be able to get an advanced Regents diploma, they have to have something in there to do that, to bring them up and over the edge, where they can take a sequence now and get it in a different path. And that's what we're allowing. Note down at the bottom on these graduation requirements, 3.5 credits are allocated towards electives. If they take a CTE elective that can qualify towards replacing one of those other advanced Regents requirements, they can still get a Regents an advanced Regents diploma. One of the things that I want to make sure that we're all aware of, and especially now during this pandemic that we're in, we're going to have a lot of students coming through that are going to have some gaps and some difficulty. So we want to make sure that we have these classes in place to be able to uplift our students and be able to get them through. Some of the options. All right, so we already talked about DDT. We talked about LOT is the language other than English. It's the additional credits that we offer through, both Spanish and French. There are some other courses that are offered under CTE that would qualify for the core subject areas. All right, so the career forecast. Right now, if you get on any website, the career forecast right now is hands-on. It's everybody's doing things with their hands. Construction industry is going nuts. Digital production is computerized, and we do that with the TV production class. E-commerce, education, entrepreneurship, finance, healthcare, human resources, HVAC, home inspections, plumbers, electricians, landscaping designs, and transportation industry. They are all right now hot prospects for students graduating high school, or even with a 2-year or a 4-year degree. So to get them the exposure to it while they're in high school, potentially even with some college credit, is awesome. And that is it.
Hugh, can I add one thing?
Absolutely.
Regarding the sequencing for CTE or technology or OCED or whatever, whatever area they want to plug them into. It's nice going back to the sequencing is if they have a student gains 3.5 credits or beyond 3.5 credits, they could plug that into other things to satisfy some other graduation requirements, which is kind of another option for students to get out the door and graduate. So that's another bonus for us, I think. It gives kids a little more flexibility and more reason to take the courses. And the piggyback on what Kathleen said about the trades. I mean, I do a lot of it on the sides, and my son's in the electrical union right now, and they already are hurting for people, and is just right across the board, like Q said, and she has some of the things coming up that the career fields that it's kind of exciting that there's some options for students other than going to college and lucrative way to make income. So that's it for me.
I had a question about the sequencing. Is that brand new, like this year, or is it for next year?
No, it's actually brand new for this year. They came out with it in June of this past year and put it into place in July, but they really didn't give a lot of notice to the school districts because we were all working with the pandemic, trying to get our feet under us. So what we're going to do is, as of this year, we're meeting the requirements already, but what we'd like to do is make sure that everybody is able to have alternative plans from here on out. So we actually met with the guidance yesterday to go over some things to implement them for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Aaron, do you need anything else, or Dr. Peck?
Does anybody have any more questions?
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Everybody have a great night.
Thank you,
very
everybody.
much to you, Mr. Reed.
Good job.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, next, I only have one other thing, and let's get through it without the big dog barking. I'm sorry about that. We had a parent email a board member, and the board member had asked me what we're looking at for the prom this year with the pandemic. And I actually talked to Dave Daniels, who talked to Jason Motel, who is the junior class advisor. And right now we got the Jenny Gant Slant Golf Course reserved for June 18th for the prom. So hopefully that will go on, and hopefully by June 18th, I'm just praying every night that we're in a better place with the pandemic. We can actually have something of a normal prom. So that is, and again, to the parent who had emailed to the board member, I think they're on tonight. We are definitely looking at that, and Mr. Motel has reserved it for June 18th. So just an update on that. And Mrs. O'Brien, that is all I have under the superintendent's report for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, 2.2 board report. We want to address the continued hybrid model. I'm basically just looking for an update on where we currently stand, what the plan is moving forward, as well as if you could speak to some concerns we've had, or questions rather, as to why we are not full-time in person as Chenango Valley is.
Well, first of all, I don't like to compare us to any other schools because I simply don't know other schools. And for me to talk about Chenango Valley, that's not fair to Chenango Valley or Chenango Forks. I think Dr. Gill would want to talk about Chenango Valley. And I know that they're every day in certain grades. I can tell you what we did in our district. When we put the plan together to come back to school, we put several plans together. And I know we've talked at several board meetings about this. And we actually had a plan at one point to bring pre-K through 5 back every single day. And in order to do so, we simply did not have the room in the district to do that. We would have had to take away from the middle school and the high school. And the high school probably would end up being fully remote. We also did not move any teachers out of their subject area or their core content area. We also did not cancel any grades. So we still have pre-K, we still have K through 5 in elementary. AIS teachers are teaching AIS, RTI are teaching RTI, reading are teaching reading. So we didn't do any of those things. I think some other districts did. And that is why we went with a hybrid model with Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday being remote. Did we look at every day? Absolutely, we looked at it. We actually had a plan of every day at one point. And we had 7 or 8 plans coming back in. And every time we get a plan going, and you can talk to any admin and they'll tell you this, we would get to a certain point and go, that's not going to work because of this or because of that. So that's why we're not pre-K through 5 back every day. You know, I can't speak to why other schools are doing it or how they're doing it, but I can tell you why we weren't able to do it. It was a space. We didn't move our teachers out of their content areas, and we didn't take away programming, and we didn't take away any grade levels. So those are things that limited us to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can tell you right now that we have been talking as an admin team in the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school. We're already starting to look at ways to bring students back slowly. Right now, the pandemic's at a height. Every Monday and Wednesday, I'm on call with Broome County, all the superintendents, Department of Health, Jason Gardner. Our numbers are skyrocketing every single day. So we're not going to bring anyone back right now, not when things are skyrocketing. We're going to bring people back as COVID declines, the governor eases, New York State eases and says we can bring more people back. Having said that, I can tell you that there's plans, and it's already started in the high school. We've already brought back 20 special ed students, and they're coming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Mr. Daniels has also convinced some students to go from that were remote to hybrid. I know there's a plan in the elementary. I don't really want to speak too much to that tonight without Catherine and Hannah, because they're working on that, and I don't want to put anything out in an open meeting where it may be misleading. It's a work in progress. The same thing in the middle school. I know Mr. Rillo is working on bringing back the highest need students first, and that's right from the state. This state said concentrate on the highest need students first. So that's where we are. That's why we're there, and that's our plan to bring students back. And again, as soon as this pandemic eases at all, and it's not easing, we're actually worse off now, and we all know this, than we were on March 13th, 2020, when the school shut down. I can't tell the board and the public and the teachers on know this for a fact. Every day, at the end of the day, we get a list from the DOH of people who are on quarantine. And every day that list gets a little bit bigger. It's staff, it's students, it's everybody. So we're really doing the best we can right now. And I can't talk about other schools and how they're doing it. I can just talk about why we did what we did.
Thank you. And can you speak, my final question is just, can you speak just so the public knows who's a part of the planning process?
The part of the planning process, absolutely. It's actually, the whole planning process is on the webpage. It was made up of committees. The board was on committees. I know each and every board member, I believe, was on at least one committee or invited to serve on at least one committee. It was made up of administrators. It had parents. It had teachers. It had teachers' aides. I gotta go back to July. I think those are all the areas that covered. And all those subcommittees basically put all their input into a final draft that we used, the admin team, myself, Catherine Kazminski, Hannah Elwin, Bernie McDermott, Dave Hogan, Drew Willow, myself. We wrote the final proposal with input from all those groups. And again, we adopted that back, I believe, late July, early August is when the board adopted our plan to come back into school. And we gave a presentation too. I gave a presentation. It was actually an hour-long presentation. I remember it very well because I talked to a blank computer screen for an hour, and it was one of the most awkward things I've ever done in my career.
Thank you. And who participates in the planning moving forward?
Planning moving forward is mostly done by the admin team. And I believe they'll work with their site-based in their buildings, their department chairs, grade level coordinators. And I believe the principals will bring that information to the admin team, and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Does any other board member have any questions?
No, Amy, I can speak. Oh, sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to cut you off, so you can go ahead, Mary.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, I'm speaking, I work at SV where we do go every day, but the reason it works for us is we had the room to do this. In order to do that, we had to move 7th and 8th grade to the high school. And now 7 through 12 goes every other day. K6 is able to go every day. However, we also move teachers out of content areas and things that we couldn't do here at Forks. So it's definitely a work in progress. I mean, it's going well, I guess, for the most part there, but we had the luxury at SV for more room than Forks has, and the fact that we had to move teachers and stuff to different places. So almost every teacher in our district has a classroom now, and any K through 6 teacher has a classroom now. Special ed, AIS teachers all have classrooms now. So that was the reason how it works there, and a little bit different than Forks. So a different perspective on, why people always ask, how can this district do it and we can't? I'm just speaking in my perspective, being an SV, where we're able to do it, and that's the reason why we were able to do it.
Mike, thank you. And the fear was in our district, if we move those teachers, those AIS, those RTI, special ed teachers, then our students wouldn't be getting the services they needed. And that's key to make sure those students get those services. And that was a big play into why we did what we did.
My question was, how many TAs do we have that are certified to teach? I know we have Roll Lapham, but I don't know who else. Do we have many in the middle? Or
We have at least, Mary, off the top of my head, I want to say 3.
Okay. That's not too many.
I know we have one in the middle school, high school, and I think we have one more in the elementary school.
Okay. And the second thing, how many rooms are we using downstairs? Are they already occupied with other things?
Yep, no, good question. Right now, the bottom floor of the elementary school houses the 5th grade. The old district office that I was using last year to go back and forth between the 2 schools is housing Hearts and Hands. We have the nurse down there, Mitts down there. So it's pretty much all taken up except for a couple classrooms on the bottom level, and the 5th grade nurses, I'm sorry, the 3rd, 4th, 5th grade nurses down there as well as the special ed office. So it's pretty taken up down there, especially moving the 5th grade down.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Classrooms where the 5th grade was upstairs then.
It was spread out. The elementary spread out now with the COVID.
Okay. So you just redispersed everybody.
Correct. And now's the issue of if we redisperse them enough to bring back pre-K through 5, we would have pushed into the middle school and high school. Hence, we weren't had anywhere for the middle school and high school kids to go. And the way they did it is we went to Lowe's, John Sylvanik went to Lowe's, and we bought, I think I showed the board maybe when we did the original presentation, the PVC, we made circles, and we laid the circles inside the classroom to make sure everybody was 6 foot apart, and put the desk inside. And I believe it's 12 to 15 desks per classroom. So again, and Amy, I want to be very clear that this was something that was well thought out. And we have very intelligent admin. I think I'm pretty intelligent as a superintendent. We talked through this. We spent hours and hours and hours. And if you talk to any administrator, they're going to tell you that. Through the month of July and August, we actually were sick of one another. We spent so much time on Zoom with one another and going over what if. And we came up with plan after plan after plan. And I can't tell you, and again, the admin will tell you the same thing. We get 80% through a plan and all of a sudden we go, oh, darn, we can't do that because all of a sudden this is going to happen or that's going to happen. It was probably one of the most trying 2 months of my professional career. And again, every other day is not perfect. I admit that to the board, to the public, to the teachers, to anyone who wants to listen. But we perceive that as the best possible education we can do at this point under the current guidelines. And once those guidelines start to ease, we will bring kids back just as fast as we can. I give you my word on that. I'll hold my feet to the fire. I mean, as soon as we can, we will start bringing those kids back into school.
And I know in my building, I do 2nd grade, and the 3 2nd grade classrooms in my building, I'm in the library, one is in the music room, and one is in the art room. Now there's 2 rooms in our hallway that are empty, but the only reason they're empty is because you need empty classrooms in case a student gets sick in the classroom and you got to disinfect the classroom. So you got to move the class to an empty classroom. So even if you have extra classrooms, you need some empty ones there in case, you have to relocate a class for an hour or 2.
Actually, we have quarantine areas too, Mike, where you have to, where the nurse has to, full PPE to go in the quarantine area to take care of sick students. So there's a lot, and I understand that people don't do what we do for a living, so they may not understand it. They may just look and go, hey, you know what, CV or SV can do it. Why can't we do it? And again, everyone has my office number. Everyone's got my email. Everyone's got my cell phone, for better or worse, public and staff and board. If you have questions, concerns, comments, feel free to reach out to any of those. I will explain, I will talk to you, and I'll let you know what's going on and why it's going on that way. There's no secrets in public education. I mean, what we do is very overt.
Any additional questions? Okay. All right, moving on. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve 4.1 through 4.6. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you, Spiros. Discussion? Roll call.
Amy O'Brien. Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Vavra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 4.7, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to revise the band stipend approved on December 10th, 2020 to the following. Ken Starr, $2,375.50. And Dan Pace, $2,375.50. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Mary. May I have a second?
Second.
Spiros, discussion. Okay, roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 4.8. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to allow the superintendent and secretary to the superintendent to carry over vacation days that exceeds the current cap in their contracts from the 2020-2021 school year accumulations due to the ongoing pandemic and its effects on the operation of the district. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Mike?
Second.
Spiros, discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 5.1, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve the recommendations of the Committee on Preschool Special Education and Special Education, and be it resolved that the Board of Education confirms the recommended placements. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Mary.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 5.2, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve the attached agreement between Chenango Forks Central School District and Tamco Management Group, LLC, for Phase 2 of the current capital project. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Or second, Mike gets it.
Either one. Either one.
Discussion.
I'm assuming this was reviewed by the lawyers, just because it was added today. I didn't have a chance to look at it, so.
Well, Lynn, this one, that's why it was added today. It literally, it should have been on last month. It's Nate Van Wy is the person looking at it. And it's gone back and forth between Tamco and Nate Van Wy nonstop. I think Aaron had this on a couple times and we've had to remove it and put it back on for this agenda actually, because it kept getting updated. But this is its final version and it's okay to go.
Okay. Thank you.
We are trusting in our attorneys because that's 34 pages of a lot of legalese. Okay, roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 5.3, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve the amendment to the Chenango Forks Central School District flexible spending account as attached. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Spiros. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Discussion?
Joe, can you just summarize what this is? I tried reading it when I was at work, but you're muted.
I say the best things when I'm muted. Mark, summarize this if you would for me, Mark.
That's basically saying that some over-the-counter medications and some female products can be included in the flexible spending accounts coverage.
Okay, so they weren't before, it's just an addition.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Amy O'Brien. Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 6.1 and 6.2 are an FYI. 6.3, Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve the financial reports for November as attached. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Sparrows. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 6.4, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve the 21-22 Geo Preference Bid Award as attached. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Mike. Second, thank you, Spiros. Discussion. Okay, roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. 6.5, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve a donation in the amount of $1,500 from New York Bus Sales LLC to be used for the Christmas Basket Fund. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Spiros?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Discussion? Roll call.
Amy O'Brien. Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 6.6. Resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent that the attached tuition rates for foster care Billings non-resident pupils in the Chenango Forks Central School District be and are hereby established for the 2020-2021 school year. And be it further resolved that the Chenango Forks School District will forward bills to the pupil school district of origin for students in foster care who currently reside in homes in the Chenango Forks Central School District. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Yes.
Second.
Mike, I think you got that one, and discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 6.7. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve a resolution providing for the holding of a special school district meeting in and for the Chenango Forks Central School District, Broome and Chenango Counties, New York, and providing for other matters in connection therewith, as attached. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Oops. Yes. Thank you, Mike. Discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 7.1. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to approve the Board of Education minutes from the regular board meeting of December 10th, 2020 as attached. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Thank you, Spiros. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. 8.1. Motion for consideration of executive session to discuss collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law, as well as personnel matters, discussions involving proposed, pending, or current litigation. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Spiros. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lynn. Discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien.
Aye.
Spiros Tomatoes.
Aye.
Mary Collins.
Aye.
Mike Fabra.
Aye.
And Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. Joe, will we be coming out to vote on anything?
I don't think so, Amy. There's nothing that we need to. No, there's nothing. Nope.
The only anticipated action. So for anyone who cares to stay, that's fine. We'll be back out to close the meeting. Otherwise, have a good night and we'll see you next month. Is Mary back?
Not yet. No, here she comes.
Okay. All right, 9.1, upon recommendation of the superintendent, a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Why do you gotta pick?
Mike, then me.
Motion.
Or Lynn.
All right, we got a motion by Mike, a second by Spiros. Discussion. Roll call.
Amy O'Brien, Spiros Tomatoes,
Aye.
Mary Collins,
So you're muted, Mary.
Hi.
Mike Vavra,
Aye.
and Lynn Lockwood.
Aye.
Motion passed. Have a good evening, and we will see everyone back here on February 11th. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.